Imagine wandering into landscapes so unreal, they feel borrowed from another world. Waterfalls dropping like sheets of glass, salt deserts stretching into infinity, and mountain peaks rising like ancient giants, guarding the edge of the sky. What if Earth still held scenes that defy everything we think we know about our own planet? In China, the Malingshan Scenic Area rises like a colossal stone playground, crowned by its iconic Buddha Hand skywalk, a sweeping platform that seems to float above deep gorges, offering breathtaking vantage points in photo spots that draw travelers from around the world. Travel west to Senegal, where Lake Retba glows a vivid pink, a natural fusion of extreme salinity and pigment-producing microbes that turn the water into a shimmering, living canvas. Then cross into Egypt, where the white desert lies silent and haunting, its chalk formations carved by relentless winds into shapes so alien they resemble sculptures dropped from another planet. These places are only the beginning. In Impossible Places, 30 extremely surreal wonders on Earth, we uncover landscapes forged by chemistry, erosion, and deep time. Environments so astonishing, they challenge the limits of scientific explanation. Prepare to witness a planet far stranger and far more extraordinary than you ever imagined. The Malingshan Scenic Area. Imagine stepping into the Malingshan Scenic Area in Guizhou, China, where the impossible becomes real. A glass skywalk known as the Buddha Hand stretches over 2,000 feet above the canyon floor, offering views into a gorge carved over tens of millions of years, with mist in the hollows and sunlight slicing the chasm into ribbons of light and shadow. Towering cliffs rise more than 1,000 feet, their exposed layers revealing Earth's deep history, while the Maling River winds below, forming more than a dozen waterfalls that can surge to 5 times their normal flow during the rainy season, turning the canyon into a roaring spectacle of thunder and spray. To reach the stump, visitors must climb steep, inclined steps that lead to an ancient hilltop temple, a spiritual sanctuary high above the gorge, where weathered stone hints at centuries of reverence. Visitors can also capture photographs that seem to float in midair, as if ascending directly into the sky, by climbing a small set of steps to special platforms where clouds drift beneath your feet and perspectives collapse into surreal frames. High-altitude zip lines stretch hundreds of feet across the ravine, giving a sense of scale as riders pass sheer walls and plunging waterfalls. Malingshan is more than a scenic destination. It is a living geological archive where rivers, cliffs, waterfalls, and ancient stone layers narrate Earth's history in dramatic detail, a place where adventure, photography, and science converge into an unforgettable experience, alive and astonishing. White Desert in Egypt is a place where time and wind have become artists, sculpting the landscape into shapes that seem borrowed from another planet. Towering chalk formations rise between 10 and 20 feet, carved into mushrooms, spires, and creatures frozen in stone, their strange silhouettes casting long shadows that shift as the sun moves across the sky. This surreal expanse lies within White Desert National Park, where the stark white limestone contrasts sharply with the rolling gold dunes of the Sahara, creating a visual tension between ice-like cliffs and sun-baked sands. In certain areas, archaeologists have uncovered marine fossils, silent reminders that millions of years ago, this arid desert was submerged beneath ancient seas. At night, with no city lights to intrude, the Milky Way stretches above the ghostly white formations, making it a paradise for stargazers. Every gust of wind reshapes the limestone, subtly altering the forms and keeping the desert in constant evolution, a living gallery of Earth's artistry. With its alien-like rocks, hidden fossils, and unmatched night skies, White Desert stands as one of the planet's most astonishing and enigmatic landscapes, where geology, history, and imagination converge. Salar de Uyuni in Bolivia is one of the largest salt flats on Earth, an immense white expanse spreading across more than 10,000 square kilometers of the high-altitude Altiplano. During the rainy season, a shallow layer of water turns this desert into a massive natural mirror, so perfect that clouds appear to drift beneath your feet. Its salt crust can reach depths of up to 10 meters, formed as prehistoric lakes slowly evaporated over tens of thousands of years. Beneath this brilliant surface lies one of the planet's most strategic resources, lithium deposits estimated to contain nearly 1/2 of the world's total supply. In the dry season, the ground fractures into vast fields of natural hexagons, geometric shapes created by the slow crystallization of salt under the relentless sun. The flatness here is so precise that NASA uses Salar de Uyuni to calibrate satellite altimeters, relying on its near-perfect surface as a natural reference plane. With its reflective horizons and scientific significance, Salar de Uyuni stands as one of South America's most surreal and awe-inspiring wonders. Pamukkale in southwestern Turkey is a landscape where Earth's slow chemistry has painted an otherworldly masterpiece. For over 2,000 years, hot springs loaded with calcium have spilled down the mountainside, building dazzling terraces that shine as white as packed snow and curve like steps carved by time itself. Their turquoise pools, warm between 16 and 36 degrees Celsius, shimmer in the sun like liquid gemstone basins suspended on the cliffs. Rising just above this natural wonder is ancient Hierapolis, founded in the 2nd century BC, where Roman bathhouses, a sprawling stadium, and a stone theater once echoing with crowds of over 15,000 still crown the ridge. History records that Hierapolis thrived as a healing center for centuries, drawing pilgrims who believed these mineral-rich waters carried restorative power. At dawn, dozens of hot air balloons drift upward each day, giving travelers a rare aerial sweep of the glowing terraces and the silent ruins that overlook them. Recognized twice by UNESCO for both its geological beauty and archaeological legacy, Pamukkale remains one of the planet's most extraordinary intersections of nature and history. With its bright white slopes radiating against a warm Mediterranean sky, it feels less like a place you visit and more like a place you discover. Lake Natron in northern Tanzania is a landscape that seems painted by fire and minerals, a striking alkaline lake glowing red and pink-orange under the sun. Its color comes from halophilic algae thriving in waters so extreme that surface temperatures can exceed 38 degrees Celsius, creating one of Africa's harshest aquatic environments. The lake's high alkalinity, with pH levels reaching 11, can calcify birds and small fish that remain too long, giving the area the eerie nickname of a natural petrifying lake. Yet Lake Natron is a biological paradise for specialized life, supporting salt-tolerant algae, brine shrimp, and millions of lesser flamingos that rely on the lake for breeding. More than 2/3 of the African lesser flamingo population flock here, forming breathtaking pink flocks that swirl above the red waters, an aerial spectacle unlike anywhere else on Earth. The lake bed is covered in white crystalline deposits of salt and soda, sculpted into surreal patterns, while the surrounding landscape is dominated by Old Doinyo Lengai, a volcano rising approximately 2,700 meters its dark peaks contrasting with the vivid lake below. With its alien hues, calcifying waters, and rare ecosystem, Lake Natron stands as one of Africa's most extraordinary natural wonders, where life adapts to extremes in spectacular fashion. Tsingy de Bemaraha in Madagascar is a realm where Earth has carved its imagination into reality, a forest of stone reaching jaggedly toward the sky. Limestone pinnacles, sharpened like ancient teeth over millions of years, create narrow canyons, hidden caves, and precarious ridges that twist like a natural labyrinth. Spanning roughly 8,000 square kilometers, this UNESCO World Heritage Site shelters extraordinary wildlife, including endangered lemurs such as the Deccan's sifaka and the elusive fossa, species found nowhere else on the planet. Traversing the park is an adventure. Suspended bridges and hiking trails thread through towering spires, each turn revealing a new perspective of sharp peaks and shadowed chasms, demanding both skill and guidance. Sunlight transforms the landscape hour by hour, casting dramatic patterns across the stone forest and turning every fissure and pinnacle into a sculpture of shadow and light. Amid these alien formations, these unique species make their home, adding life and movement to a place that might otherwise seem frozen in time. Tsingy de Bemaraha is more than a park. It is a natural cathedral, a place where geology, evolution, and sheer imagination converge into one of Africa's most breathtaking and surreal wonders. Yellowstone National Park, located primarily in Wyoming, stands as the first national park on Earth, established in 1872. It protects one of the planet's most active geothermal systems, containing over 10,000 hot springs, mud pots, and geysers, including Old Faithful, which erupts to nearly 160 feet with remarkable regularity. Beneath its forests and valleys lies a supervolcano, marked by a caldera stretching roughly 43 miles across, created by an eruption more than 600,000 years ago. Its wildlife is equally iconic, home to bison, gray wolves, moose, and a wide range of birds of prey. Gray wolves vanished from Yellowstone in the 1920s after decades of eradication efforts aimed at protecting livestock. But in 1995, 14 wolves were reintroduced from Canada, launching one of the most successful conservation projects in modern history. Their return triggered a powerful trophic cascade. Elk numbers dropped to sustainable levels, riverbank vegetation rebounded, and species like beavers and songbirds began to flourish again. Today, Yellowstone supports roughly 90 to 130 wolves, tracked by GPS as they roam through sweeping plateaus and dense pine forests. Combined with its hydrothermal wonders, volcanic energy, and complex ecological story, Yellowstone remains one of America's most extraordinary natural laboratories, an ever-evolving masterpiece of geology, wildlife, and deep time. Neuschwanstein Castle in Bavaria, Germany, rises like a fairy tale vision on a rocky hillside, surrounded by dense pine forests and the shimmering waters of Lake Alpsee. Commissioned in the 19th century by King Ludwig II, the castle embodies the Romanesque revival style, with soaring towers, ornate turrets, and interiors lavishly decorated with murals inspired by legends and the operas of Richard Wagner. Perched dramatically above the valley, the castle was never fully lived in by Ludwig II, yet it remains a testament to his fantastical vision, a monument where imagination and architecture merge. Visitors ascend winding paths and bridges that reveal breathtaking panoramas of the surrounding Alps, forests, and lakes, each turn offering a new perspective on the castle's intricate spires and dramatic facades. Neuschwanstein's design has influenced countless stories and even inspired Disney's Sleeping Beauty Castle, cementing its place in global cultural imagination. Each year, more than 1 million tourists journey from across the world to walk through its halls, peer into its delicate rooms, and experience the magic of a castle that seems suspended between history and legend. With its stunning setting, elaborate architecture, and enduring mystique, Neuschwanstein Castle stands as one of Europe's most iconic and enchanting landmarks. Sequoia National Park in California, United States, is a realm where giants of the natural world reach skyward, and the scale of life feels almost unimaginable. The park is home to towering sequoias, including General Sherman, the largest tree on Earth by volume, standing approximately 274 feet tall with a trunk over 36 feet in diameter. Spanning more than 1.6 million acres, the park stretches across rugged forests, deep valleys, and the high peaks of the Sierra Nevada, which soar above 14,000 feet. Visitors can explore a network of forest trails, hike up mountain slopes, and encounter black bears and other wildlife beneath the colossal trees. park's climate is as varied as its terrain, shifting from dry, sun-baked valleys to snow-covered mountain summits, offering a dynamic backdrop to its ancient giants. Sunlight filtering through the towering trunks creates a cathedral-like atmosphere, where every branch and needle seems to whisper stories of centuries past. With its immense trees, dramatic landscapes, and thriving wildlife, Sequoia National Park stands as one of the United States' most awe-inspiring natural wonders. The Dead Sea, tucked between Israel and Jordan, feels less like a lake and more like a geological paradox. An ancient basin resting at 430 meters below sea level, the lowest place anywhere on Earth. Its water is so saturated with minerals that it reaches a salinity nearly 10 times higher than the ocean, creating the surreal sensation of floating as if gravity has been dialed back. These minerals, especially magnesium, calcium, and potassium, have been concentrated here for thousands of years, turning the lake into a natural laboratory for skincare science and therapeutic treatments. Even the black mud that lines the shoreline is rich enough in minerals to be collected, dried, and used worldwide. But the Dead Sea is also a landscape in motion. As inflow decreases, its surface drops by more than 3 feet every year, causing underground salt layers to collapse and form thousands of sinkholes, some sinking nearly 30 feet into the earth. Standing at this extreme depth below sea level also means the air is subtly thicker and richer in oxygen, giving visitors a strangely calming sensation as they breathe. Framed by white salt crystals in deep cobalt water, the Dead Sea remains one of the Middle East's most dramatic natural spectacles, part wonder, part warning from the deep past of our planet. Koh Phangan, tucked inside Thailand's Phang Nga province, is a floating village that seems to defy the rules of geography. Built entirely on wooden stilts since the late 18th century, this Muslim community of roughly 1,200 residents rises above the tides like a small city anchored to the sea. Beneath dramatic limestone cliffs soaring hundreds of feet, the village forms a maze of wooden walkways connecting homes, shops, and family-run restaurants, all suspended above turquoise water. One of its most remarkable features is a floating soccer field, first constructed decades ago from scrap wood by village children who refused to let the lack of land stop them from playing. Over time, it became a symbol of Koh Phangan's resilience and ingenuity, showing how a community can thrive even in a place where solid ground hardly exists. With its uncommon architecture, living history, and breathtaking Andaman backdrop, Koh Phangan remains one of Southeast Asia's most extraordinary cultural landscapes. Meteora, set in the heart of central Greece, is one of the world's most astonishing cultural landscapes. An ancient sanctuary balanced atop towering sandstone pillars, rising 200 to 600 meters above the plain. Formed over millions of years by erosion and uplift, these colossal rock columns became a refuge for hermits in the 11th century, when they carved out caves to live in isolation and contemplation. By the 14th century, full monasteries were constructed high above the ground, built not only for worship, but also for protection during periods of warfare and raiding. Out of the 24 monasteries that once stood here, only 6 remain active today, each recognized by UNESCO for its extraordinary blend of geology, architecture, and spiritual heritage. For centuries, monks and supplies could reach these heights only by rope ladders and baskets hoisted on pulleys, methods that remained in use until stone bridges and stairways were added in modern times. The result is a breathtaking convergence of Greek Orthodox history and dramatic natural forces, making Meteora one of Europe's most sacred and surreal marvels. Rainbow Mountain, known locally as Vinicunca, is one of Peru's most surreal geological wonders. A ridge painted by nature with sweeping bands of red, gold, green, and violet, created by mineral deposits accumulated over millions of years. Rising to more than 5 violation above sea level, the mountain sits in air so thin that every step of the ascent becomes a test of endurance, making the journey as memorable as the view itself. Its striking colors reveal a chemical portrait of Earth's ancient past. Iron oxide produces the deep reds, magnesium-rich phyllite creates cool greens, and sulfide compounds brighten the slopes with vivid yellows. For centuries, this landscape was hidden under year-round snow, but only in the last 10 years, as glacial ice has retreated, has the mountain's full palette emerged. Today, Rainbow Mountain has become one of Peru's most sought-after trekking destinations, drawing travelers from around the world to witness a natural masterpiece carved by time, minerals, and shifting climate. Hanging Temple, perched on the sheer cliffs of Mount Hengshan in China's Shanxi province, is one of the world's most astonishing architectural feats, suspended roughly 75 feet above the ground. Built more than 1,000 years ago, the temple clings to the rock face using slender wooden beams driven deep into the stone, creating a structure that is both daring and delicately engineered. Unlike most sacred sites in China, Hanging Temple unites Buddhism, Taoism, and Confucianism under one roof, reflecting a rare spiritual fusion. Inside, over 70 statues crafted from wood and bronze line narrow hallways and cliffside chambers, each carved with remarkable precision. With its gravity-defying position, multi-faith legacy, and ancient craftsmanship, Hanging Temple stands as one of China's most extraordinary religious landmarks. Sigiriya, rising from the plains of central Sri Lanka, is a colossal rock fortress, towering nearly 200 meters above the surrounding jungle. Built in the 5th century by King Kashyapa as a sky palace, it is reached by more than 1,000 stone steps that climb past terraces, gardens, and ancient waterworks. Ingenious hydraulic systems that still function after 15 centuries. Halfway up stands the iconic Lion Gate, marked by 2 massive stone paws that once framed the entrance to the summit palace. Inside the rock's sheltered wall are the famous Sigiriya frescoes, vibrant portraits of celestial maidens painted over 1,500 years ago, their colors remarkably preserved despite the passage of time. With its bold engineering, vivid art, and unmatched vantage over the landscape, Sigiriya remains one of Sri Lanka's greatest archaeological wonders. Stone Forest, located in China's Yunnan province, is a sprawling geological masterpiece where limestone pillars, some soaring more than 300 feet, rise like the spires of a fossilized city. Shaped over 270 million years of erosion, these formations cover over 400 square kilometers, forming a maze of narrow passages, blade-like towers, and echoing stone corridors. Many of the rocks mimic animals, warriors, or ancient tools, giving the landscape a surreal, almost mythic atmosphere. The region is also home to the Sani people, a branch of the Yi ethnic group, whose legend of a Shima, said to have turned into stone, adds a deep cultural heartbeat to the terrain. With its dramatic geology and living folklore intertwined, Stone Forest stands as one of China's most extraordinary natural wonders. Reshat structure, set deep in the Sahara Desert of Mauritania, is a massive circular formation stretching nearly 40 kilometers across, so large that it became known as the Eye of the Sahara when astronauts first saw it from space. Its concentric rings of rock, tinted in shades of blue, brown, and gold, are composed of layers more than 100 million years old. Despite early theories, scientists now know it wasn't created by a meteor impact, but by uplift and long-term erosion, slowly sculpting the landscape into a perfect geological spiral. The formation served as a key landmark for Apollo-era astronauts navigating Earth from orbit, its swirling pattern unmistakable against the vast desert. With its enormous scale, vivid coloration, and mysterious origins, the Richat structure remains one of Africa's most intriguing natural puzzles. Atacama Desert, stretched across northern Chile, is the driest region on the planet. Some weather stations have gone over 400 years without recording a single drop of rain. Its landscape of crackled salt flats, jagged canyons, and mineral-rich lagoons is so Mars-like that NASA uses the desert to test rover technology before sending it to the Red Planet. Sitting at elevations above 8,000 feet, Atacama offers skies so clear and stable that astronomers consider it the best natural observatory on Earth. Here stands ALMA, the world's most powerful radio telescope, built from 66 synchronized antennas that probe distant galaxies and the earliest structures of the universe. With its severe climate, alien beauty, and scientific importance, the Atacama Desert remains one of South America's most extraordinary natural frontiers. Antelope Canyon in Arizona is one of the world's most mesmerizing slot canyons, carved by flash floods over thousands of years into sinuous sandstone that looks frozen in motion. The canyon splits into Upper Antelope, famous for sudden vertical shafts of light that pierce the chamber at midday, and Lower Antelope, a deeper, more twisting corridor of narrow passages. Sunlight paints the walls in a living palette, reds, oranges, and purples, so that every curve and ripple seems to breathe as the day advances. The sculpted walls rise from about 10 to 30 meters, creating narrow windows to the sky and perspectives that collapse distance into intimate frames. Appearances deceive. Despite its calm, the canyon can flood in just a few minutes, when distant storms dump torrents that roar through the channels. With its delicate curves, dramatic colors, and raw geological power, Antelope Canyon remains one of the United States' most iconic and unforgettable natural spectacles. Landwasser Viaduct, located in Gießen, Switzerland, is the most iconic stone bridge of the Bernina Railway, completed in 1902. The viaduct rises more than 65 meters above the Landwasser Valley on 6 elegant stone arches, carrying the track directly into a tunnel carved deep into the cliff, a daring engineering achievement for its time and a marvel of early 20th century ingenuity. Remarkably, the entire structure was built without traditional scaffolding. Workers hung from the sheer rock face to position each massive stone with painstaking precision, facing harsh alpine winds and freezing temperatures. Today, the line is recognized by UNESCO for its astonishing construction across the rugged Alps, blending engineering brilliance with dramatic natural beauty. With bright red trains sweeping across its towering arches, the Landwasser Viaduct stands as one of Switzerland's most unforgettable and photogenic landmarks, drawing photographers, tourists, and train enthusiasts from around the globe. Caño Cristales in Colombia's Sierra de la Macarena is often called the River of Five Colors, where vibrant reds, yellows, greens, blacks, and pinks bloom from the aquatic plant Macarenia clavigera. During the low water season, from June to November, the river erupts into a glowing red ribbon that winds through dense rainforest. Stretching roughly 100 kilometers, it flows across waterfalls, natural pools, and smooth rock chambers carved over time. The water is so clear that you can see ancient granite estimated to be over 1 billion years old shimmering beneath the surface. With its surreal palette and untouched ecosystem, Caño Cristales stands as one of the most visually extraordinary rivers on Earth. Lake Retba, known as Lac Rose, shimmers along the coast of Senegal with a natural pink glow created by the algae Dunaliella salina, which produces carotenoid pigments under intense sunlight. Its salinity is extremely high, nearly equal to the Dead Sea, allowing people to float effortlessly on the surface. During the dry season, the lake turns its deepest shades of rose, contrasting sharply with the bright white salt dunes that line its edges. For years, Lake Retba served as the iconic finish line of the Paris-Dakar Rally, marking the end of one of the world's toughest races. With its vivid colors and long-standing salt harvesting traditions, It remains one of Africa's most striking natural wonders. Giant's Causeway, located on the Antrim coast of Northern Ireland, is a remarkable natural wonder featuring over 40,000 hexagonal basalt columns formed by volcanic activity approximately 60 million years ago. These columns rise between 10 and 30 feet tall, tightly packed together to create natural steps that appear to stretch seamlessly into the Atlantic Ocean. Local legend credits the formation to the giant Fionn mac Cumhaill, who is said to have built the causeway to cross the sea, giving the site a rich cultural as well as geological significance. UNESCO has recognized Giant's Causeway as a World Heritage Site due to its unique rock formations and breathtaking coastal scenery. The interplay of rugged basalt pillars, pounding waves, and the mythic stories woven through centuries makes Giant's Causeway not only a geological marvel, but also an iconic symbol of Northern Ireland, drawing visitors from around the globe to witness its otherworldly landscape and ancient natural history. Sanctuary of Madonna, or Santuario della Madonna, is found in several regions across Italy, but the most famous is Santuario della Madonna di San Luca in Bologna. Pilgrims ascend more than 300 meters along a covered portico, climbing over 300 steps to reach the hilltop, where a precious wooden statue of the Virgin Mary watches over the city. Built in the 18th century, the sanctuary combines religious devotion with architectural ingenuity. Its long, twisting corridor protects visitors from sun and rain, while the vaulted ceilings showcase elegant Baroque details. From the summit, sweeping views of Bologna and the vast Emilia-Romagna plain stretch to the horizon, offering a striking perspective of both natural and urban landscapes. With its spiritual significance, distinctive design, and panoramic vistas, the Sanctuary of Madonna remains one of Italy's most celebrated pilgrimage sites, drawing thousands of visitors each year who seek both faith and inspiration. Drina River, flowing along the border of Serbia and Bosnia and Herzegovina, is famed for its emerald green clarity and deep gorges, often called the mini Colorado of Europe. The river stretches about 344 kilometers, carving through the Balkan Mountains and creating a dramatic, wild landscape. Its most iconic feature is the wooden house perched on a rock in Bagina Basta, standing for more than 50 years despite multiple floods trying to sweep it away. Drina is also a hub for adventure sports, with several rafting sections reaching Class 3 to 4 intensity. With its rare blend of beauty, geology, and human resilience, the Drina River remains one of Serbia's most defining natural wonders. Devlai, set within Namibia's Namib Desert, is a stark, white clay pan framed by towering dunes that rise over 300 meters, among the tallest on Earth. Its surreal landscape is defined by ancient camelthorn trees that have stood for more than 900 years, their dark trunks preserved by air so dry that decay is impossible. The contrast of the white basin, the deep orange sand, and the vivid blue sky creates one of the most striking natural color palettes on the planet. Once fed by the Salchob River, the pan dried out completely when shifting dunes blocked the flow, leaving Devlai frozen in time, a haunting, beautiful symbol of stillness in the African desert. Underwater waterfall in Mauritius is a stunning optical illusion off the coast of Le Morne, where shifting sand is pulled toward the edge of the continental shelf, creating the appearance of a waterfall plunging into the ocean. From above, the contrast between bright sand and the deep sapphire waters makes the cascade look strikingly real. The shelf here is only about 100 meters deep before it drops into a trench reaching more than 4,000 meters, amplifying the dramatic visual effect. Though not an actual waterfall, it's a precise interplay of currents, seafloor topography, and crystal clear water. With its rare beauty and misunderstood nature, the underwater waterfall stands as one of the world's most captivating natural illusions. Darvaza crater, known as the Gateway to Hell, burns at the heart of Turkmenistan's Karakum Desert. The fiery pit spans roughly 70 meters across and plunges nearly 30 meters deep, created in 1971 when a drilling platform collapsed into a pocket of natural gas. To prevent methane from spreading, scientists ignited the gas, unaware the flames would continue for more than 50 years. At night, its blazing glow washes over the desert sands like a scene from another world, with temperatures inside soaring beyond 1,000 degrees Celsius. Raw, mesmerizing, and scientifically fascinating, Darvaza crater remains one of Earth's most surreal natural spectacles.